Okay, you guys, this is Michelle Thompson, and I am live again. And we are going to be talking about mending relationships. So, just finished my last video, and I wanted to go ahead and get started on the next one of this topic because I've been talking to you about the relationship series and that I've been doing. And I apologize, you guys, for not being here for the last couple of weeks because I actually got the flu, and so I do apologize for that. And hello, Melanie. So, anyways, I really do apologize for not being here for the last couple of weeks because I got the flu and then my husband got sick and it was just difficult. It's like all I want to do is just crawl in bed and stay in bed. And being cold, it just made it worse. So it was just tough, to have to go there. So I want to talk to you about mending relationships. So I'm going to tell you a little story that I found really quite interesting. So give me just a second. Let me kind of readjust this a little bit because I feel like I'm kind of looking sideways on the screen. All right, here we go. Okay, so, all right. Okay, so I'm going to get started, and whoever wants to watch the replay can watch the replay. So, okay, so here's the thing. So over Thanksgiving, my brother is, we're all sitting around talking and everything, and my mom just got this like lounging chair that you can put two people in. So I'm sitting right next to her in this loungy chair, and I'm like propped the legs up, and I'm all like laying back with her, and I got my hand on her leg and everything. We're just sort of like doing a little love bug thing, cuddling and stuff. And so my brother says, so Larry's my mom's husband, and he says, so Larry, he goes, he goes, so he goes, so does mom ever pull that whole manipulation thing on you? And he goes, does she use her like emotional tactics to control? And Larry busted out laughing. And now this is a man that was an ex-cop, ex-fireman, ex-military, and he busted out laughing. I've never seen the man laugh like that. Like bellow laughing, like tears coming out of his eyes laughing. And I was like, and I just looked at mom and I go, I have never seen him laugh like that. That is crazy. And she's just like looking at me like, and doing that fake sort of like, oh shit, I'm going to kill him. And, and I just didn't know if her like reaction was, I'm going to kill Larry or I'm going to kill Russell or I'm going to kill both of them. And she's all like trying to play nice and everything. And I'm just over here laughing my butt off because my mother is the master manipulator. Okay. And she uses emotions to manipulate. Like, oh, where's my long lost daughter? Like, I'm not long lost. It's just been 3 days since I've talked to you. Okay. I mean, it's like she has this very high need for affection. And so if I tried the other day to like pull it back on her and she beat me to the punch, I was like, oh, well, I haven't heard from you. Where's my long lost mother? And she's all like, I was going to tell you that I've been calling you and you haven't responded. I mean, I even texted you. And I go, really? Here's a screenshot. I have no text here. Oh, I did even ask Larry. I was just like, no one in here, right? So anyways, so I needed you to kind of have like a little background information on her as to what she's about. She's this loving, kind, wonderful woman that most people don't really understand because she's so, she just really needs, she will manipulate you all the way, use control, guilt trips, the whole 9 yards to get what she wants. And what does she want? Love and affection. Okay. So going to the story that I'm going to tell you is that, so I don't know, like 6 months, a year ago or so, I came over to spend some time with my mom, and she said, I'm very, very upset with your sister. And I said, well, what has she done now? And she's like, well, I call her and I call her and I call her, Michelle. And every time she answers the phone, she says, Mom, it's not a good time. And I told Jenny, I said that, Jenny, that's what you say every single time. It's never a good time. And one day I'm not going to be here and you're going to be sorry. Well, that was her little guilt trip. That was her little manipulation. There, she's trying to get her way, and it wasn't working because my sister knows the name of the game. Okay. So she's all like, that crap didn't work on me. It's like, Mom, I'm busy. I'm sorry. And so she was very upset because she couldn't figure out how to get her way. So she decides to ask master manipulator, Michelle. Yes, I am the master manipulator. I learned it from my mother, except I do not use emotions to control people. I use very tactical, very scientific ways to get a different result. And that is what I'm going to teach you. So in this story, my mother says to me, Michelle, help me. And so she's like, you seem to be able to get time with her. How do you do it? And I said, well, Mom, the thing is that I don't call her. I don't ever call her because she'll do the same thing to me. So I just show up. She goes, well, I tried that. Me and Larry went over there and she said, Mom, I don't have time. I've got this and this to do. And I kept on saying, Jenny, just please sit down. And she was just like spinning around everywhere, just like a bumblebee, like everywhere. And I just couldn't get her to settle down. And so finally, Larry and I just left. And I said, okay, Mom, that's not what I'm talking about. So basically, I told her, I said, look, here's what you do. Okay. I don't go over there to try to get Jenny to do what I want her to do. What I do is I just show up and I go, hey, what's up? What are you doing? And she'll say the same thing to me. And she'll go, oh, I'm really busy, Michelle. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to do this and trying to do that. And I go, that's fine. I just was swinging by and I figured that you were probably working on something and I was kind of bored. So what do you need help with? And she goes, oh, you want help? Yeah, I can use the help. And I go, okay, what are you doing? Well, I'm repainting this or I'm redoing this or da, da, da. And I go, okay, well, just tell me what you need me to do and I'll start doing it. And she goes, okay, da, 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 da. Sometimes it's cleaning the kitchen. Maybe sometimes putting up laundry. Sometimes it's painting a wall. Sometimes it's one time we spent the whole day repainting a table. And until like I worked on the chairs while she was working on the tables. And she told me exactly how to do it and what she wanted me to do in every way. And I said, okay, fine, I'll start doing it. So I was explaining to my mom, and my mom says to me, well, now, Michelle, I have a bad knee and I can't be doing all that. And I said, Mom, I'm not talking about you doing projects. That's going to be hard on you. You're missing the point. What you need to do is you need to understand that you have a love language, and your love language is that you need to spend time with people and you need to talk. Okay. You need that interaction. So yours is about time spent. And Jenny's love language is acts of service. So Jenny will come over and she'll refinish all your walls. She'll redo your cabinets and everything. And she'll spend every single day until like midnight at night working on this for 2 weeks or a month. And then she'll say, I'm good for a year. I've done my love campaign. And Mom started laughing and she's like, oh my God, that is so true. And I said, she goes, but that doesn't help me. I really need my daughter. I just need her. And I said, okay, Mom, so here's what you do. You get Larry to drop you off, and don't leave him there with you because that just causes her more stress. You get him to drop you off, and then you help her with something. And she goes, well, Michelle, my bad knee, I can't be doing all that. And I said, Mom, can you fold towels? well, yes. And I said, Mom, Jenny has every project going simultaneously all the time. There's something you can do that you can sit down and do. Well, okay, I'll talk to Larry about that. So a couple of days later, she calls me. I apologize about all the coughing, you guys. So a couple of days later, she calls me. And she says, Michelle, I have to call. I have to talk to you. And I said, okay, what's going on? She goes, well, I did that thing you told me to do. And I said, hold on. I need to hear all this. I want to know every single detail. What happened? She goes, well, I'm just going to tell you, I know why all your clients love you. She goes, because you're just so wise. I started laughing. I said, what happened? And she says that she got Larry to drop her off. Okay. And she went over there and she said, now, Jenny, I'm not over here to bug you or to bother you or any of that stuff. I know that you're really busy and I came over here to help. So what do you need help with? And Jenny says, well, she goes, oh, well, before you get started now, you know I have bad knees. So, you know, I'm probably going to have to be sitting down when I'm doing something for you. Okay. So my sister says, well, that's awesome. I'm redoing my craft room. Why don't you come in here? And so she sat her down in the chair. She asked her if it was comfortable. And she said to my mom, she goes, look, I've got all this yarn because my sister does like all this, like needlepoint and all this other stuff. And she says, and it's like really gotten like messed up. She goes, so I just need you to rewind it into a ball. And so they sat there in the chair for hours winding yarn. And guess what happened? Just take a wild guess what happened. My sister started talking. And my mom was super happy. And my mom got the time and the communication and the everything that she needed. And my sister felt like she was getting love the way that she understands love. You see, the moral of the story is that most relationships become destroyed by expectations. You see, my mom's expectations were something that my sister couldn't meet because my sister had all these rules around it, you know, and she couldn't meet those expectations because the way that my mom wanted it wasn't something that she could do. So what happened is that my mom decided to put her expectations aside and decided to put the needs of my sister first. And then the result from that was that she got her needs met. You see, the problem with most relationships, the problem with almost every relationship that has problems in it, that needs amending, is that the expectations are higher than the person is able to give. Just because you're capable of doing those things doesn't mean the other person is. And that's not their love language. The best way to get somebody to do something you want them to do is speak their love language. And then they start doing everything for you. I'm telling you, I learned this lesson a long time ago with my husband. And I'm going to tell you, it works. Absolutely. But you got to speak their language. Okay. So my husband's love language is totally different. Okay. So I'm really busy all day. Okay. I'm doing videos. I'm doing online programs. I'm constantly busy. I'm seeing clients. And so he's like always texting me all day and he needs that. Right. So like when I text him back and I send him an emoji or something like that, and I'm kind of like, you know, and I tell, you know, a lot of times you guys, you know, you see me doing this all the time, you know, like I'll go, oh, by the way, I need to text him. So what I'll do is I send him a nice little text message, which I'm going to do right now because you just reminded me. So I'll send him a nice little love emoji and that'll make him feel good. Okay. I'll send him his goofy one with a little tongue sticking out or something. Okay. So that's all he really needs. He just needs to know that I'm thinking about him. He just needs that. Okay. And as long as I'm doing that, then he's happy. Okay. The other thing is that he needs to feel the way that he feels a connection is it's his is kind of a weird thing. It's kind of like time spent acts of service. And it took me a while to figure that out because I was thinking it was acts of service, but it's really acts of service on time spent. So an example of that, it can go a couple of different ways. So like I decided that I was going to build a life size brain fart, sorry, Jenga board, and the life size one. And so I was talking about it. Next thing I know, the man goes out and buys all the wood, chops it up, says what size, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, what? So the next time that we had some time off together, we've got like this whole like wood shed workshop set up in a storage shed. It's like a workshop type thing. And like I'm over there, like, and it's sort of like a assembly line kind of thing. Like I'm doing this, but like he's shaving off the sides to get it like all nice with the drilly thing. And I'm over here with the sander, and I've got the power tools and elect sander, and I'm doing all the stuff, and he's all like super happy, like because we're working on a project together. Like that kind of thing is the first thing that'll give him a raging, stiffer thing. And so, and I'm trying to think of like what's the appropriate word to say. Anyways, that kind of thing is like what gets him going. Okay, like that makes him happy, and so, like, that's his love language. So, and it's not, his love language isn't seeing me do things. It's us doing those things together. I mean, it can be riding a bike together. It can be grocery shopping together. It's working out together. It's like when we're working on a project together, like a project. I know grocery shopping doesn't sound like a project, but for us, it's a project because we have to think it out. We have to think of, okay, what are we cooking? What are we making? What are we doing? We need this, we need that, da, da, da. I mean, it turns into a project. Okay. And because we have to sit down, think about it, make a list, da, 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 I mean, it's a big deal. And then, work on it together. And so like when we're doing these things like that, or when we're working out, we come up with a plan that we're going to do together. Like, how are we going to do this? Because he's not going to be over here doing one thing and I'm doing another. I mean, might as well just not even go to the gym together. Okay. So that's kind of like his thing, like he likes doing everything together. So when I speak his love language and I do those things, I get exactly what I need, exactly what I want without even having to ask. He just starts pouring it out. I mean, it's amazing how much a person will give to you everything you need because you're being you're not being selfish anymore. You're not like, I need this, I need that. You're not doing this. I expect this. You're not doing that. People go into relationships with expectations. And the thing is that expectations destroy the relationships. If you want to mend a relationship, stop thinking about yourself. Start doing think about what that person's acts of service is. Sorry, I said that wrong. Think about what that person's love language is. And once you know their love language, then you start speaking it and you will start noticing that person starts giving you the moon. That will give you everything, the whole world. The heavens will open just for you. All right. Getting off my soapbox here. All right. My face is lit up telling the story. The thing is I'm really passionate about this story. And I mean, it's kind of a 3-part story. And the thing is that I'm super passionate about it because I personally have really tried to figure out this particular subject myself for a very long time. And it wasn't until I started studying hypnosis and NLP and mastermind and, just everything. Micro expressions, just everything. Okay. When I started learning all this stuff and I started realizing that you can get what you want from people if you give what they need first. And it's because most people really believe that a person isn't worthy of their love unless they're showing them that they're willing to give love. But the thing is that everybody experiences love differently. So you have to understand their love language. And that's so understanding all of that is what actually causes you to be in a more successful relationship. So knowing all of that, you guys go out and try this technique, and then you got to let me know how it goes. And if it works for you and it works really well for you, put a little note, not in the chat room, but in the comment section, and let me know how it works for you, because I would love to hear stories that have been success stories for you. I have taught this technique to so many people, and I'm like, remove your expectations. Remove your expectations. Your expectations are going to be the thing that destroys you. It will destroy every single relationship, whether it's relationships with your kids, relationship with your mother, relationship with your siblings, relationships with your friends. It will destroy every single relationship. So remove your expectations and just start giving back the way the other person experiences love. And if you don't know what it is, watch them, pay attention, see how they respond to things. See when they're actually giving back, because they'll give back when you give to them. Okay. All right, you guys, I think I'm done. I'm going to go home and early tonight. Wow, this is great. Hi, Robin. You're just going to have to watch the replay. I'm sorry. I'm about to tally it up. So I'm sorry about that. Real quick though, if anybody has any questions or anything, just ask real quick before I close off. And gotta drop something on the floor. Okay. Well, if you guys don't have any, thank you for saying that, Melanie. I appreciate it. If there's no questions, then I am going to tally this up and let you guys go. Y'all have a fabulous day and good. I told a really funny story about my mom, so you might want to go back and watch it because it's really kind of crazy. My mom is really quite the hilarious person. And in fact, I was actually thinking about doing a podcast on this particular subject, because I actually did a recording, and I was thinking about actually putting in like on a podcast, because I just love the story about my mom. I mean, it's so funny. Yeah. Learning this with your 18-year-old. I tell you what, I had to, okay. Let me back up some. Okay. So my daughter is 29 and my son is 25. And I had to, try to figure out, because people change. Okay. And it's, over time. And based on their experiences and the things that happened to them. And so her love language kind of changed. And so I started noticing that the things that I did before weren't working as much. And so I started really paying attention to so I just tried everything, it's like there's 5 love languages. So I said, okay, I'm going to do this and see how she responds. I'm going to do this and see how she responds. I'm going to do this, see how she responds. And anyways, I ended up figuring out what her love language was. And once I figured it out, because it had changed. And most teenagers seem quite selfish. So usually you think it's gifts. Okay. But it's, you know, once you really start, they really start kind of getting into themselves. Okay. You'll end up finding out that they're actually, you know, turning it back. My daughter now, because I speak her love language all the time, is always throwing it forward. I mean, it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing how our relationship has changed drastically because I speak her love language. And so, yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing to do on your kids. I definitely need to connect with him because he pushes my boundaries and it's frustrating. I start nice. When I get tough, he tells me to be nice. Wow. Yeah. But he's 18, and so, you know, he's it's a challenging age. You know, it's they really don't start leveling out until they get a little bit. And boys, it's a little harder because they mature slower. So um, they, you know, your best bet is to kind of figure this out, because the expectations is the problem. Okay, so you've got to. I mean, I use the word manipulation, okay, because, and I know that manipulation sounds like a bad word, but the reality is that's what you're doing. Okay, you're you need to really understand that this is a science. Okay, and when you walk into the door and you understand what is the exact code to opening up that door, once you've got it, that's it. It's just like smooth sailing. I'm going to tell you, honestly, it took me a while to figure out Shane's code. And it caused a lot of arguments. And I'm not an arguer. And so that was hard. And but once I figured it out, because I would ask him and he wouldn't tell me. He wouldn't tell me because I don't think he really understood it. I was convinced for the longest that his love language was acts of service. And and so I thought like cooking dinner for him or giving him a massage or, you know, like doing something like, let me do that for you. Let me do your laundry. No, that did not make him happy because that wasn't his love language. His love language is time spent, but he wants time spent that is productive. So it's kind of has it's a weird thing, like for somebody to have two love languages that are literally overlap. Like one has to be with the other. And so his is like that. And so once I figured that out, man, it was like smooth sailing. All I have to do is, you know, I mean, and it's interesting because sometimes he'll buck at it a little bit. Like when we were working on the Jenga game, like building it, he was like, because I was using a hand sander, and he's like, I'm thinking that we need to go and buy a sander, like an electric sander. And he goes, and then we're going to need some more boards for this, that, and the other, blah, blah. And I said, okay, well, let's go to the store. And he goes, no, you can go by yourself. And I go, I don't want to go by myself. Now, I have to play this role sometimes, okay? Because I don't really care. I can go by myself. So I have to kind of lure him in because I know it's love language, right? So I'll go, but I don't want to go by myself. And like within 10 minutes, he'll go, okay, let's go to the store. And he's all like super happy the whole time we're at the store. And then after we do all this and he's all excited about his power tools and what he's doing with them and how we're like, oh, let me do it for a little while. And then, you know, I mean, he's like, it's amazing. Like the rest of the night afterwards is like so great. Like he was so sweet. And, you know, and I'm like physical touch. And so like, that's my love language. Like, I'm like, I want to hold your hand, you know, that kind of thing. And so like, he's like reaching over and touching me and just being all sweetie, sweetie. And he's not like that. That's not his love language, but he was doing it because I spoke his love language. And I did have to kind of lure him a little bit because sometimes he's just, you know, like he knows I'm independent and he knows I'm strong and he knows I'm capable and he knows that I don't need him to hold my hand doing anything. So it is a little challenging sometimes because I have to kind of like do the little girly thing sometimes just to make him feel good, right? So I'm like, but I don't want to go by myself. And he's like, do I have to hold your hand? And I'm like, mm-hmm. and and he's just like that. But then he's super happy. It's the weirdest thing. I watched him with the dogs, you know, and like he'll sit there and go, God, you know, but yet he'll sit there and pat him and pat him and pat him and pat him and like be all super happy because like if they get down, he's all like, where'd you go? Where'd you go? And I started like thinking about it and I'm like, I think he likes to complain. But then he likes the idea that he's like the savior, like the knight in shining rescue man, you know? And so I was like, interesting, interesting. And I really paid attention to how he behaved with the dogs. And then I realized what his love language was because he loves his animals. I mean, big time. Like he'd do anything for those dogs. I'm telling you, they're his babies. Okay, hold on. Let me look at the thing. I've learned I don't like arguing either. Thank you, Joanne. I appreciate it. I've learned that having a son with autism, you're forced to learn it and there will be hell to pay. Oh, so you have a son that has autism. Okay. Now, wait a second. Is it like a mild form of autism? Is it like Asperger's or something? Because I think that we've talked about this before. And so like you really, I think that with Asperger's, I think there's a definite sense of security that needs to be in alignment, like, and they like repetition and they like to know that everything's going to be the same. So there's a lot of things that are applied to that. And I don't know. I think it really just depends on the level that they're at. But all I can say is that you're an amazing person, and you know, I think that when you have a child like that, it really develops you into the kindest, loving, greatest person that ever existed. I have to say, because you have to be to have to do that, you know. High functioning Asperger's, yes, I kind of figured that because I remember after you said that, I'm sorry that I forgot that you had told me this before. So yeah, yeah, figure it out. It if he's high functioning like that, and especially if he's intelligent, figure out like what his things are. And I suggest that you just kind of play it a little bit, like see how he responds to this, and if he doesn't respond, and then try something else, and then try something else, and try something else. And like I said with my husband, it was about watching how he responded to the dogs that taught me what his love language was, because I was just floored. Like, okay, I've tried all these things and it's not working, you know? And I ended up finding out that it was a combination of two together. That was his love language, which was interesting because I've heard that you can have two love languages, but I've never heard that they had to run simultaneously. And that's he's different anyway. So, and so, I just happen to be with somebody who's extremely different and has to be complicated. So, but yeah, anyways, all right. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm wrapping it up. Unless anybody else has anything else to say. Yeah, he's extremely intelligent. Okay. So, creating a pattern that he can depend on is important. And security is very important as well, but those don't have to do with love languages. So just kind of take that into consideration and then try to figure out what is love languages around that. And autism typically don't like to be touched much. So anyways, so it's probably not going to be that. And but I would look into that and see, and let me know how it goes. Okay. All right, you guys, y'all have a fabulous day and enjoy your evening. Bye.